So Lindsay, who I do have down as being one of the top boys for sure, as to he takes the subject matters as seriously as it needs to be, and he's one of the few. So it's like when he gets to talking about what happened to them kids at the school, when he lays it down, when he gets to talking, it's like, here we go. It's like, thank you, God. I don't have to talk about it anymore. He gets it. He gets how serious it is. So, all of these figures who get to this stage of the game as to where they get real smart will generally get an email from me that they never read. But James has now actually reached the prerequisite level to be able to actually have a hope of winning this ridiculous culture war, and winning it real fast too. It says this: what's happening is a religious war, a spiritual war. It's a huge Gnostic cult trying to take over and destroy the reality they have been misled to believe is a prison. Oh yes. They believe their histrionic suffering is the insight that makes the key that allows them and us to escape. I'm like, now he gets it. Okay, in view of the fact that, I have contacted this chap before, I've never been able to organise an exchange. At this stage of the game, when you come to realise it's a religious and spiritual war, those of us who've been saying that it's a religious and spiritual war for a decade and have been conducting ourselves as if it is a religious and spiritual war, now you've actually reached the level of understanding that this is the area in which to engage. Hasn't now the time come where I come in almighty handy, having waited for this moment for so many years? As to it will come to be in the end, what you'll end up with is a situation as to where humanity could be seen to have backslid into a kind of neo-paganism, which was something I was speculating about over a decade ago, having them being the only words I had to describe the gravity of what was happening. It's like in that great big hole where there used to be a religion, and this notion of right and wrong has now grown this monster in its place. And it's like, I know that monster. I've been working on this while you were all trying to get past the cringe factor to understand you're actually in a spiritual religious war against the forces of evil. And they're winning, and they're only winning because no one stands up to them. And they're crafty and they're smart and they'll tell any lie. And they're always listening and they're everywhere. Trick is not to be afraid, because it's like the lurking menace that they actually face is one that all of us will understand on our own level of the game as to where it's something not right about this. There's something about this that's off. But if I say something about it, maybe I'll be the one who's punished, not the sinner. It's like once you get it that game's being played, once you understand that is the crucible where you have to operate, risking the mob attack and risking it all, until you're willing to do that, until you're willing to take the slings and arrows, you're not doing nothing. Sideways shift with me, that movement of people on YouTube, where I've been like, yeah, I won't mind a word. I've been doing it long enough. You should be curious now as to what I might have to say. Always sideways. Always. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's like David Icke talking about aliens. It's like, no. I'm talking about the creation of an incredible amount of wetware that wasn't just available for the state to manipulate. It was available for everyone else to manipulate as well. And some people have done a knock-up job of perverting this army of narcissistic pre-programmable wetware children that they've produced. It's like the forces of the child snatchers, the predators, they got to them before the government did. And anyone else who wanted a piece of them, they took a chunk of them as well, seeing them as a perpetual new blood marketplace source of business, consumption and work. What were designed between a few handshakes to be like the ultimate generation of consumers are emotionally driven robots. And try telling them that, and the way they'll malfunction will demonstrate that it's true, but good luck calling that person friend again. No longer designed to think, because to think is to speak, and to speak is to risk showing the world what a fucking fool you are. Remain forever dumb. And forever dumb is forever superstitious. And forever dumb believes in fucking fairies. Doesn't believe in God, but believes in fairies. And it's like, it's taken too long for someone like James to realise that the people that he's actually up against believe themselves to be psychic, and would listen to these pleas from him as to say, oh, well, he would say that, wouldn't he? So predictable. Water off a duck's back. But now, when he looks at it and says, what's happening is a religious war, it's a spiritual war, it's a huge Gnostic cult trying to take over and destroy the reality they've been misled to believe is a prison. It's like, shut up. Now you're fucking with our gig. Now you're pointing to what we've hijacked. And now you're pointing to where we can be attacked. Oh yes, at any stage of the game would you require to speak to a specialist in this matter? How many anti-New Age mystics do you know? It comes close to the time where I may be of service. And what a day it'll be. Ha ha ha. Evil laugh, because it's going to be evil.